Good. This is StayTunedSandusky.com. I'm Matt Westerhold, and I'm talking with Erie County Commissioner Matt Old. So, Matt, what's new? How are things going in county government?
Very well. It's actually an exciting time in Erie County. We have a lot of good things going on. And, just really stemming from the Blue Ribbon Committee, I think that broke a lot of walls down. And it's got a lot of people working together and thinking more collaboratively, uh, focusing on, reducing costs for taxpayers, having government be more efficient, and thinking a little more regionally. I mean, we're at a place in Ohio where, people are talking about abolishing property taxes. The cost of everything is so high. A fire truck that used to cost $400,000 now costs over $1 million. But
Easily, easily over a million.
yeah. So the revenue hasn't went up with as far as the expenses have went up. And government's got to adjust to that new reality. The prices aren't going back down. People aren't going to pay higher taxes. So government needs to rethink the way that it's doing business. And the way we've done business for forever isn't going to work anymore. And the elected officials in this county are spending a lot more time thinking through these problems and working towards a solution that isn't going to cost our citizens more money. So it's been fun. There's not a lot of breaking news, but it's been fun working with people and seeing the relationships that are improving, and the focus on fixing long-term problems of government.
And you mentioned the Blue Ribbon Commission, and I think you envisioned that, or you first started thinking of a Blue Ribbon Commission in 2024. Is that right? Am I right on that? And then in 2025, for the first 6 months, a group of people that the county commissioners and others agreed to looked at every aspect of government spending for about 6 months and then came up with the Blue Ribbon Report. And you've been following some of the suggestions in there. And this is all about collaboration. And I'll give you credit, Matt. You stick to the message, and now here we are 2 years later, and you're still working with the report, and that seems to be working for you.
Yeah, really, the report was a blueprint, for the next generation. And it was a lot of work from the committee. They did a great job. We the county commissioners, gave them 6 months to come up with ideas. And some of them are pretty big ideas, like, regionalizing water and sewer, looking at different ways to buy health insurance collectively, um, even down to having a car wash that all the government vehicles can drive through, and we can spray an undercoating of film to protect them against salt. If we can get 3 or 4 more years out of a school bus or a fire truck, multiplied by all of the different governments in Erie County, that's a huge savings to the taxpayer for a little cost of a car wash. So we're looking at all those opportunities right now. But really, I view Blue Ribbon as the blueprint for the next generation.
And this has been a hallmark of your career in county politics. You started out as a township trustee in Berlin Heights, I believe. Is that right?
I started out on one term on village council, and then I became a township trustee, and then ran for county commissioner in 2016.
And this has always for you been about good county government, good stewardship of taxpayer money, and collaboration. It's
Yeah.
always been part of what your theme of your career. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, one of the reasons I ran for township trustee was, I tell the story of the village of Berlin Heights needed a new backhoe, and the township had a backhoe, and it's like, why can't we just share that? We don't need it that often. So, working on in Berlin Heights, getting the one zoning inspector rather than the village having a zoning inspector in the township. Why don't we just have one? We're a small community where everybody knows each other, and why don't we just work together better? And part of the relationship was just the village and the township governments, just they weren't mad at each other, they just didn't work well. So I thought I could be a little bit of a bridge there. And and then with all the craziness that was going on with the water lines, that Pat Shenigo was fighting against, and the county commissioners at the time wouldn't back Commissioner Shenigo's bid to get the broken water lines fixed. I decided that I'd run for county commissioner to kind of help fix that problem. And then, that's moved on, and now we're looking at rising costs of government. People are mad about how high their taxes are, and we're working to do everything we can to lower the costs for people, the 75,000 people that we represent.
And so you've been a commissioner for how many terms now? How many years?
I'm in my third term.
Okay, so you're in your third term. So that's 9.
10,
It's about a
10 years.
decade.
Yep.
And then before that, you were a trustee and a village councilman. And so that's a period of time. How many years is that altogether?
About 20.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. And so over the course of 20 years, in Erie County, would you say government relations and have improved, and how much have they improved, and collaboration? I think about how we didn't have regionalized dispatch until
Mm-hmm.
maybe 15 years ago, and how what a cost savings investment that was. And so this has been a trajectory, and you've been pushing for this for all the time. So how has the progress been in 20 years, in your view?
I mean, this past year has been the best year for cooperation between elected officials. Probably, I mean, certainly in the 20 years that I've been around, but you can go back and read newspaper articles from the 1960s about Erie County and the city of Sandusky fighting. I mean, this past year, with the election of the new commissioners, with Kate Vargo as mayor, John Orzak as city manager, I mean, the relationship between Erie County and the city of Sandusky has never been better. I mean, we collaborate. I mean, I probably talk to Kate or John or Jeff Crable multiple times a week, where before that just didn't happen. We're sitting down and working on issues together rather than having lawyers sue each other. I'm very, very surprised at how good the relationship is, but it's the right people in the right places. And that's what this whole politics business is. It's a people business. And the city of Sandusky is focused on solving problems. Erie County is focused on solving problems, and we sit across the table and we work together. I mean, it's been a night and day difference this past year.
And you just finished some work with the city and the Maroos Brothers Company on Battery Park. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that project's going along very well. We have a grant from the Department of Development for $10 million to clean up the Battery Park site, and we just had a meeting this week. Everybody's moving forward in a positive direction, and that's going to be a great project for the city of Sandusky and for Erie County. I mean, it's a beautiful piece of property, and the state of Ohio's put money in, the Erie County Land Bank. The city of Sandusky's put in a tremendous amount of effort on this, and we're moving forward, and it'll be exciting when that project comes to completion in a couple of years.
And what do you think will be the first part to be constructed there?
I don't know that. That's our role is in the site cleanup, and that's what
That's
we've been
right.
working on. The next phase is the partnership will move to working with the city.
Well, I'm talking with Matt Old, Erie County Commissioner Matt Old. Sort of a state of the county conversation, I would say. And I wanted to ask you, Matt. There's another burning issue. And you've been very aware of this. Is the property taxes? Now, there's a couple things. So Erie County was the only county, or one of just 3 counties that enacted tax relief for residents, and then there's also the petition drive. Can you talk about those two things?
The county commissioners have completely surrendered the $8 million of property tax that the county government gets. We did that last year, and then we did it again this year. So if you look at the pie chart on your tax bill, you used to have a little wedge of the pie chart that went to the Erie County government. The last 2 years, that's been zero. That's been a voluntary decision by the county. We've really prioritized fiscal responsibility, and I call it the dividend of good government. Our citizens we're the only county in Ohio whose citizens pay $0 to the county government. The legislature
Now, wait a
this
minute.
past year.
I want to stop you there real quick
Yep,
because I think that's an important point. You called it what? What did you call that?
it's the dividend of good government.
And so the county was able to basically not collect $8 million from taxpayers in Erie County for 2 years, so $16 million
Correct.
voluntarily uh, did not collect from tax. So it's a tax cut for two
Yeah.
years of $16 million
Yep.
for Erie County residents, and Erie County is the only county in the state that did that.
That's right.
Is that right? Okay,
And
so that's
there's
important,
a
but
technical reason. We can't just give it up forever. We have to do it year by year. That's just a
uh-huh.
quirk of Ohio law. So I intend to continue doing that, but we do have to vote every year to give
And
that relief.
do you think your fellow commissioners are going to continue doing it?
I think so.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. Yeah. So I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I mean, well, the thing about that tax cut is your critics and Mr. Shenago's critics and Mr. Schaffner's critics. When you say $16 million tax cut, it's a mic drop. I mean, it's just okay. You're right. So it is a dividend of good government. I would agree with you, but please go on.
Yeah, it's one of the it's something that we can do that impacts every single citizen in the county. A lot of government actions help this person or that group of people. This is for everybody. And it's a result of Pat Shenago's management of the county before I got here, and then the 10 years that we've worked together to just hold costs down. And because we've done that, we're able to provide this tax relief. And this past year, the legislature gave counties the authority to double the owner occupancy credit on their house. If they live in their house, they can get an extra tax bump. And then also the homestead exemption, the doubling of the homestead exemption, which primarily impacts senior citizens. And we were the only county in Ohio to put both of those expansions of the owner occupancy credit and the homestead tax credit. Only county in Ohio to do that. So in
So
Columbus, they call us the trifecta because we're the only county that's given up all of our property tax, expanded the homestead exemption to its maximum, as well as expanding the owner occupancy to its maximum.
And so this is another point, a valid point. This is another tax cut, effectively, and this is a
Yep.
tax cut that most other governments in Erie County also are participants in giving. Is that correct way to say that?
So they don't have an option. If the county commissioners impose those, it takes away your taxes to all the governments. So if you go back to that pie chart on your tax bill
But
that says,
there isn't a street battle over this decision.
we had conversations with everybody. Some of the school districts voiced concern, but by and large, the benefit only goes to people who own their own homes. It doesn't go to businesses. It doesn't go to commercial properties, industrial properties, people who live in their own home, and senior citizens. And I think everybody recognizes those people need relief right now, and the commissioners provided that.
Right. And so I don't know if I'm using that term correctly, but to me, as a resident and a taxpayer, that's a mic drop. And I don't know if I'm using that term correctly, but that's just, there's nothing left to say. It's two tax cuts in 2 years,
Hmm.
targeted to residents in Erie County. And I mean, it's just great government. That's great work. I don't know that anybody is arguing. Is anybody arguing?
The commissioners provided that.
Right. And so I don't know if I'm using that term correctly, but to me, as a resident and a taxpayer, that's a mic drop. And I don't know if I'm using that term correctly, but that's just, there's nothing left to say. It's two tax cuts in 2 years,
Hmm.
targeted to residents in Erie County. And I mean, it's just great government. That's great work. I don't know that anybody is arguing. Is anybody arguing with you or saying it's not good government? Do you still have your critics?
Stunningly, yes, there are some people who are critical, but it's their objections are just purely political.
Yeah.
Most people are happy. We've everything we're doing is to benefit the residents that we represent.
Yeah, and sometimes the criticism can be stinging, or stinging, as they say. But and I remember I was talking to Mr. Shenigo one time about some particular stinging criticism, and he started to complain, and then I pointed out to him that I think the two of you had a return to office vote of about 70%.
60, yeah.
All right, 60%. So it's exaggerated in my mind, but 60% is a pretty good margin. When you say, are you happy with that, or do you want more support?
Well, you always want more support, but in politics, 60% is a pretty strong margin. I mean,
Yeah, I
President
would agree.
Trump got about 55 here in Erie County. So when you outperform the top of the ticket, you know it's a bipartisan effort. You're drawing in people from both parties um, and that makes you feel good.
And that's what I like about county politics too, and city politics. It's not partisan. It's not as partisan, certainly. But I do want to. So
No,
that's
it's
the
not.
good news. That's the good news. The bad news is property taxes. Are you fearful about this effort to ban property taxes?
Um, well, from Erie County, we've already banned property taxes to ourselves. So if property taxes go away from the county government specifically, it will not impact us. Now, from a broader perspective, yeah, I think there are some concerns. But this is really an issue that the state legislature needs to figure out, or the voters are going to figure it out for them. And if the voters figure it out and say there's no taxes, um, then we in government are going to have to figure that out. And that really is the purpose of the Blue Ribbon Committee. It's to get ahead of that. If the voters decide there's no property taxes, well, there aren't going to be property taxes. So my conversation with all the elected officials why aren't we planning for that? If it doesn't happen, fine, business as usual. But we need to recognize the voters are telling us, even by the fact that this is happening, that they're concerned with the cost of government. And we still require services. So we're going to have to figure out how to do that. And the next iteration of government 2.0, as I call it, is going to involve regionalization. We're going to have to do more things together. We're going to have to work together to make sure we're providing services. Regional dispatch is a great example of that, right? The law enforcement, the dispatch costs, everybody was doing it independently. It got out of control. And as a way to save money, they centralized it. It makes perfect sense. It's 1,000 times better for public safety to have the call go to one place rather than 5 or 6 different places. You can go look at the Berlin-Milan School District. Prior to the 1970s, those were 2 districts. It was Berlin Heights and Milan.
Right.
They combined the district, and it's an academic powerhouse. It's a sports powerhouse. It's a great community. I live there. But they did that 50 years ago,
Right.
and it sustained both of those schools. So we know how to regionalize. We've done it, but we're going to have to stop with the fiefdoms. We're going to have to tear down some walls and do what's right, what our citizens expect. And Blue Ribbon is a blueprint for that next step forward in getting the right elected officials in place. And you've seen substantial changes in the city of Sandusky. You've seen changes all over Erie County, and we're working together. I mean, I've never had a better relationship with the mayor of Vermillion than I do now. It's just
Well,
township trustees, council people. It's just really positive. Changes all over Erie County, and we're working together. I mean, I've never had a better relationship with the mayor of Vermillion than I do now. It's just
well,
township trustees, council people. It's just really positive.
and is the Erie County example, is that being? I mean, it seems to me that is it being adopted in other counties? The,
Um,
the blue ribbon example,
so
particularly.
there is a law that's pending, a bill that's pending in the General Assembly to force every county in Ohio to do blue ribbon, is modeled after what Erie County has done. There is resistance to that from other governments. People want their little fiefdom. I mean, I think it's crazy, but for whatever reason, government just doesn't like working together. But that tide is shifting in Erie County, and that's really where my concern is. The rest of the state, my message to them is, you guys better start planning. If you don't need the plans, great, but you better start planning. And there's a lot of resistance to that
across the state.
across the state.
But in Erie County, there seems to be a level of cooperation.
It's growing. It's growing. I mean, there's still people that, there's a couple people who still have strong walls up, but a lot of walls are coming down very, very fast.
We're talking with Erie County Commissioner Matt Old. So, Matt, you mentioned the school districts and consolidation, regionalization, and collaboration, and I know that was a big part of the Blue Ribbon Committee report. Maybe we could do another program about that. That's a big topic, isn't it?
It's a big topic, and the summary is it's up to the school district. So the county government can't impose any of this. It's got to be collaborative, and that's going to be a decision for elected officials. But
Why don't we finish up? And can you let us know? Can you talk a little bit about what's next? What do you think is the next big thing to come together that you want to announce, or give us a pre-announcement,
well,
or an announcement?
it's
Make news.
I don't think I'm going to make any news, but other than the fact that we really are in an unprecedented era of cooperation, and there are conversations about regional water and sewer, which is a big deal. The city of Sandusky and Erie County have had problems with water and sewer for decades. Looking at more ways to work together on that, you'll see some things coming out about that in the coming months. There's EMS problems that are going on, especially in southern Erie County, with North Central EMS basically terminating their agreement with those townships. So we're kind of working collaboratively with them to make sure there's good EMS services for a substantial part of our county.
And
So,
how is that going?
well, I mean, for the first time ever, 4 townships are sitting down every month and talking collectively and working together to come up with a solution. So, I mean, that wouldn't have happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago, but they're doing a great job. And
And have they come up with a solution? This sounds like a whole other podcast. But have they
they've come
come
up
up
with
with a
they've come
solution?
up
Or do you?
with options. They're working on options. North Central has not pulled the plug, so there still is ambulance service out there. The township trustees are working together to come up with options to plan for what those services will look like, and that's coming together fairly well.
All right, I'm going to have to pursue that. It's something I've not pursued, but that does sound like a news story. Erie County Commissioner Matt Old, I want to thank you for taking the time to be on this podcast and talking with us. Is there anything else you want to leave our vast audience with?
Well, thanks for having me on, and thanks for taking the time to keep up to date with what's going on, and we'll all just stay tuned.
Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. It's all free, and we need your support. This is StayTunedSandusky.com.